Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Today, I thought it was over. I genuinely thought that we wouldn't be talking about this for a couple of months at least, but no, we're talking about transfers today. And we're talking about transfers because supposedly that we might have the ban uplifted, which means that come the January transfer window, Chelsea are back in business. So what I want to discuss in the video today is A, how much money are we going to likely be looking to spend? B, do we need to spend money? And C, what does it mean for the academy players that have come into this team so far this season and already made a bit of a name for themselves? So, Chelsea, supposedly, according to the media, they've got a war chest of money. Isn't it funny how, like, we're not pirates, but it's actually just in a bank account, but it's called a war chest. I mean, what a scary prospect. Chelsea have supposedly got this war chest of money due to the sale of Eden Hazard, Alvaro Morata. Chances are we're probably going to be offloading Bakayoko come the end of the season as well. There's a lot of money in Chelsea Football Club right now. We've just got ourselves a massive deal again, just for existing, playing in the Premier League. There's a lot of money, and Chelsea are going to have a lot of it to spend. Where's it going to be spent? Does it need to be spent right now? And if so, where? At the moment, a lot of the things I'm looking at are wingers, and I'm thinking, do we really need that? We've just gone and bought Christian Pulisic. We've got Callum Hudson-Odoi, who potentially, I thought he signed a new flipping contract 2 months ago. That's actually starting to wind me up a little bit now. Like, has he signed a contract or not? Sign a deal! But signing a new winger is obviously going to be good in terms of Willian might leave. He could go on to Juventus for a free. Pedro's coming towards the end of his career. We're going to need a little bit of backup, but in terms of the calibre of player that Chelsea are talking about signing, there's talks of Wilfried Zaha. He's not going to want to come to Chelsea and play second fiddle to Christian Pulisic or Callum Hudson-Odoi. Wilfried Zaha will be coming to Chelsea Football Club to start every single game. Jadon Sancho is another one. We'll get onto him a little bit later, but let's just take a look at the potential signing of Wilfried Zaha from Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, clubs have been after Wilfried now for a couple of years, and somehow Crystal Palace have managed to keep him at their club. Without Wilfried, some would say that Crystal Palace would have been relegated, and Roy Hodgson is obviously very keen to keep Wilfried Zaha at Crystal Palace. However, one thing that Crystal Palace will have come the January transfer window is a little bit of a bargaining chip, and that bargaining chip is very simple. January is not a time to lose your best player, and at any cost, Crystal Palace are going to do their best to keep hold of their main man. So when Everton and Arsenal came knocking on the door or banging on the door, in Everton's case, Arsenal it's more of like a Crystal Palace turned around and said, you know what, that's a joke of an offer. We want 80 odd million or whatever it was for Wilfried Zaha. They didn't want to do it, and I can understand that. That is a lot of money, and when it comes to Premier League, selling to Premier League, you often have to pay a premium because clubs don't want to strengthen a rival, because being in the Premier League for a start is worth so much money in the first place, and Palace can't afford to lose Zaha in that sense. So what does this mean exactly for Chelsea? Well, if Chelsea come banging on the door with this war chest that we're all talking about, Crystal Palace are going to turn around and say, it's January, and we might get relegated still, so we can't sell you Wilfried unless you pay 100 million. Chelsea may turn around and say, well, God, we got so much money because we sold these players and we didn't buy anyone last summer. We're in the Premier League, so we got a massive TV deal. We might be about to sign a new shirt deal. There's money in the club. Yeah, we'll pay it. Doesn't sound like a good idea in my opinion. I think Wilfried's going to want to come in and play. We've already spent a load of money on 2 other youngsters. Well, 1 youngster, and we've got Hudson-Odoi coming up as well, who's a youngster. So I fully expect that to not be a signing that I fully would endorse at Chelsea. I think there's definitely money in the club, but it should be spent elsewhere. So the alarmingly obvious place would be in centre-back. I think that if we look at this young Chelsea team, and I hate to do this because, well, it's these two teams are a bit of different gravy right now. But if we look at Manchester City and we look at Liverpool, what did they need? Well, Jurgen Klopp says, we need a goalkeeper because, well, they had Mignolet, who, and Karius, who, between the two of them, could actually start a whole new career in something else. But Jurgen Klopp said, we need a goalkeeper. They go and buy Alisson, who, at this moment in time, in my opinion, is the best goalkeeper in world football. They also went and bought Virgil van Dijk, and that speaks for itself. There's a reason why Liverpool are the champions of Europe and currently have a 100% record in all competitions this season. Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, yes, they've got what seems to be an almost infinite sum of money, which actually isn't true, and I won't go into that in today's video, but Pep Guardiola, despite having so many talented players, he knocked on the door and said, we need Laporte, a world-class centre-back to come in. Vincent Kompany, who's been such a brilliant long-term servant and captain of Manchester City, Laporte came in and he's been a revelation ever since. What Chelsea need to do, and I'm not entirely sure who this person would be, there's people talking about Romagnoli, the Italian. I definitely think, from what I do know, he'd be able to walk into this Chelsea team centre-back right now. We need somebody who can command that back line. At the moment, it's looking as though Azpilicueta is kind of dwindling out a little bit at Chelsea, which is a shame. But we need a leader. We need someone who's going to come in, be a massive voice at the back, the same way that Virgil van Dijk is for Liverpool. And if that means that Chelsea have got to invest 100 million in a centre-back, if that's even possible right now, that's exactly what we need to do. We shouldn't be going and trying to spend 80 to 100 million on someone like Wilfried Zaha when the centre-back position is absolutely key. I cannot stress this enough for Chelsea. If we got Kepa in goal, if we can keep hold of N'Golo Kante, we've got a brilliant central midfielder there with Kovacic, Jorginho, Ruben, Mount, Barkley. So many numbers to fill out that midfield. You've also got Pulisic, who's only going to get better. Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham, so many youngsters. If we can start to work the spine of this Chelsea team and come up with something with a leader at the back, that is absolutely key in my opinion over anything else. So I also mentioned earlier today, Jadon Sancho. Now, it's very, very obvious that Jadon Sancho is a Chelsea fan. He's a self-proclaimed Chelsea fan, and he's also very close to Callum Hudson-Odoi, which would be an obvious pull for him to come to Chelsea. Of course, if you come into the Premier League and you're a young English player, you look at the lifestyle in London and you think, I would like a little slice of that cake. The question is, Dortmund are going to be a bit like Crystal Palace, where a young English player with interest from Premier League clubs, what can they do? Skyrocket the price. Jadon Sancho, there's probably zero chance that any club, whether it's Chelsea, he's been linked with Manchester United, I think there's a lot of legs with that one, they're going to be looking for 100+ million for the signing of Jadon Sancho, maybe up to something like 115 million. It's crazy money. But if we're looking at the future of Chelsea Football Club, just imagine what we could do with the likes of Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Mason Mount and Jadon Sancho. It is a filthy combination, and one way or another, I think we would have not only the future of England, which would be incredible as a Chelsea and England fan to have so many young English players in there, but we'd also have a very, very good young team for the future. And if I had to preferentiate, if that's even a word, it probably isn't. If I had a preference, there we go. Look, why do I make it so difficult for myself? If I had a preference, I'd go with Jadon Sancho. However, whenever you go for someone in January, you're always going to have to pay a premium. So I would love to see Chelsea go for Jadon Sancho. I think if I'm being realistic, I don't think we'll be able to get him. I think there's more chance of him going to Manchester United. When they continue to crumble this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might be sacked soon. They may be looking at Sancho as 100 million and just being like, just get it done, and people will be happy with it. Because people would be happy to see Jadon Sancho at Man United, especially if you're a United fan. I wouldn't be happy to see him there because he's a scary prospect. So hypothetically speaking, if Chelsea's transfer ban does get lifted and we can sign players in January, like I said in this video, the centre-back is absolutely key. And if we start throwing money on other wingers, I'm going to be frustrated. I think Sancho's going to want to stay at Dortmund for one more season if we can afford him, and if he wants to come to Chelsea, we should go all out for Jadon Sancho next summer. I think a move to Man United is probably a little bit more realistic, but, you know, this is an optimistic channel and I'd love to see it happen. Maybe it will. We shall see. But in the January transfer window, it is 100% key, and I can only say this a million flipping times, centre-back. It's got to be done. Maybe, if we can, bring in, I've seen Jose Gaya from Valencia as a potential option that Chelsea are interested in at left-back, but we've also got Emerson. Is Gaya going to come in and replace Emerson? Probably not, but that would be good depth at left back. Willian and Pedro could be on their way out as well. So maybe we do need to buy some wingers, but I wouldn't want to bring someone in who's going to disrupt Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi, because at the end of the day, you don't want to go disrupting that, particularly when Callum has stalled for so long on a brand new Chelsea contract. I didn't think I was going to be making transfer videos in the middle of September, considering I thought we were going to have a ban until next summer, but here I am, talking about Jadon Sancho, Wilfried Zaha, and hopefully a new Chelsea centre-back. I would love to know who you guys think it could be in the comments down below. The problem with the centre-back position is in the middle of the season, clubs don't want to give up world-class players, and Chelsea need, if we're going to buy anyone, a world-class centre-back. So at this moment in time, I'm not sure who it could be. I think Romagnoli is one that's gone around for a while. So moving away from transfers for a moment, let's just talk about another couple of things that have been in the headlines with Chelsea recently. Danny Drinkwater got beaten up outside of a nightclub in Manchester for hitting on a Scunthorpe player's girlfriend, saying that she's gonna come home with him when she's clearly with him. Danny, come on, man. Like, I know it must be difficult for you right now. You're not playing football week in, week out. You had a massive sign-in to Chelsea after the highlight of your career, winning the title with Leicester City. It didn't go so well for you at Chelsea, but please. Sadly, Danny put himself in the situation, and although it isn't right and no one should go out trying to break a man's legs when it's 6-on-1, it's a little bit cowardice if you ask me, but Danny didn't do himself any favours, and I wish him all the best for his recovery. But it's a shame to see a player who was so good a couple of years ago. It's not worked out for him at Chelsea because he hasn't really fit into the system of any of the managers, but at this rate, hitting on Scunthorpe players' girlfriends in a nightclub or outside a nightclub, come on mate. I'm not going to talk about anything else today. Tomorrow, we've got Premier League predictions, and the following day, Chelsea versus Wolves match preview. I'm so excited for this weekend. Honestly, the Molineux, never been there before. Very excited about that. I'm going to be on the train at 8 in the morning from London Euston, going up to Wolverhampton. I'm sure I'll see some of you guys there. I'm not driving, so I might have a shandy or two. So I'll see you guys there this weekend. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, if you're not yet subscribed to the George Benson Football channel, be sure to do so. And also, click the bell notifications so that you don't ever miss a video. Let me know who you would want to sign in January if Chelsea have the ban uplifted. I expect there to be quite a big budget. Would you rather wait until next summer, or would you go all out on somebody this January? Let me know who it would be in the comments down below, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Goodbye.